and welcome and happy Valentine's Day. I'm Brandon. I'm not James. This is Ed.
And you've got on a Valentine's kind of colored shirt there, as I have a T-shirt on of same, you know, of the heart kind of.
Very nice. Yeah, I wanted to go a little fuchsia today. Yeah.
Not fishing, but fusion.
I got to mix it up a bit, but I felt a little lazy today, so I just put a shirt on, threw a sweater over top.
Yeah.
That way we can just chat.
Sort of a Jack Parr look.
Ooh.
I
don't know who that is, but I'm putting my eyebrows up like I do know who it is.
Well, check him out. He's been around.
Yeah.
He's older than I am. Well, he's long dead, but anyway.
So speaking of someone who's been around, Ed, you've been around. What are you seeing today in the markets?
I see a couple things. I see a stock that I followed for a couple of years, Walker. I can't remember the name of the company.
Is it WRR?
WRR.
Yep.
Walker Resources. And it was 5-6 cents maybe a month ago, quiet, and they pulled a monster hole at the end of January, a monster hole in something that most companies would give their hind tooth. They'd give it's a spectacular hole. Anyway, not much happening, and all of a sudden the thing pops 12 days ago, 12 days ago, and today it hit 19 cents, so it's tripled on millions of shares of trading. In fact, I got the chart up right now.
Yeah, go for it. I want you to look at another one afterwards as well.
I will. So look at just a couple of points here, and we raised some money for them. They've had some drilling, but this is nothing here. This is quiet. This is just sitting on the ground. Nobody cares. And all of a sudden, right here, look at that volume. Look at this candle. It backs off a bit, collects itself, and off to the races. Hits 19 cents today. And I think the volume today is over 10 million shares. It's not a crazy amount of money, but clearly something's changed.
Yeah.
Something's changed. Well, I'll tell you, they have some warrants that are outstanding from that financing that are going to expire in May, and I think now they're in the money. So this is a nice way to raise some money for them, so they can keep drilling this property in Nevada, which is got a lot of gold. Anyway,
very nice. Well, I'm gonna get you to pull up another one in just a second here, but first we're gonna find out what's happening today. So, packed day today. As soon as it comes up on the screen here, we are having the headline news that's going to happen in just a couple minutes here. We have Alex Coleman coming on, CEO of Tilt Holdings. They had some interesting news. I'm looking forward to that one. Michael Caridi, CEO of TOKI. They're going to be on here as well. That is their ticker, by the way. We're going to have a water cooler segment, when to buy and sell. Important to know that. You don't want to do the opposite. Market close, charts analysis, and then Jim Hamilton will be in studio. He's the CEO of Neptune Wellness.
Good.
Very nice.
Looks like a great show, great lineup.
There's a lot here. There's a lot. We're going to go to the news really quickly here, but before we do that, I want you, just for yourself and for our viewers, solo. This is something I started seeing in one of our traders' chat rooms. It was up like 260% yesterday.
What's the ticker? SOLO?
SOLO. I thought it was YOLO at first. I was like, no, it's not.
What exchange?
I believe it is the Venture. They had a rocketing day. I don't know much about them, to be very honest.
Is this the first day of trading?
Yeah. So you start looking into that. In the meantime,
wait a minute. I got Solo Growth Corp, 6.5 cents. Is that it?
Possibly, but give me one moment here. We're going to jump right into that because I want you to look at that chart. It's fantastic. But as for the news, a couple of things just to add in here as well very quickly is Valens GroWorks. They announced that they've been expanding their annual extraction capacity significantly to 240,000 kilograms a year. That is quite significant. And with that, they're going to secure the spot as one of the largest party extraction companies in Canada. Congratulations on that. Let's see that happen. Liberty Health Sciences as well. It's opened up its 10th dispensary in Dania Beach to further expand its footprint in South Florida. They keep doing a lot of good things. I know they had that short attack. I think it's been a lot of things have come out proving that there wasn't much substance to that attack, but that's hopefully in the past. I think it is as well. And Blockstream Technology, DNAX, they're the seed to sale, or genome to sale actually. They're going to be working alongside Harvest One Incorporated. So a few news releases there that are very interesting, but there are a few more as well. And here's Ricky with that news.
Thanks, Brandon, and here are the headlines moving markets today. Kana received the completion of a $125 million round of financing. the United States' largest private funding round for a private cannabis company to date. Gotham Green Partners, which led Cana's Series A raise in May 2018, invested in the round along with additional private investors to accelerate their company's rapid growth. Cana has raised a total of $175 million to date to build and scale the California cannabis supply chain, centered around small, decentralized, sustainably operated cannabis farms. MPXI International Corporation intends to raise up to 20 million Canadian dollars in a non-brokered private placement offering of up to 41 million units of the company at a price of 48 cents per unit. Each unit will consist of one MPXI share and one common share purchase warrant. Each warrant will entitle the holder thereof to acquire one MPXI share at an exercise price of 60 cents for a period of 60 months from the closing of the offering. Tilt Holdings announced a preliminary and unaudited pro forma January 2019 gross revenue of $18.3 million US, compared to the company's unaudited pro forma 2018 annual gross revenue of $97.3 million. And the CEO of Tilt Holdings, Alex Coleman, will be on the show later today. Harvest Health and Recreation announced a definitive agreement to acquire Falcon International Corp, a California cannabis company and leader in cultivation, manufacturing, wholesale distribution, and brand development. The acquisition is for a non-material, undisclosed amount of stock and will include the leadership team, 16 cannabis licenses, a distribution platform providing Harvest with access to over 80% of the company's California storefronts, and automation and production capabilities with capacity for over 1 million packaged units per month. Flower One Holdings announced a new long-term licensing agreement and brand partnership with Cannamerica Brands Corp for cannabis product fulfillment in Nevada. Cannamerica Brands is a Colorado-based cannabis brand known for its cannabis gummies and edibles, currently available in 3 states. Flower One is now licensed to manufacture, distribute, and sell Cannamerica Brands' signature cannabis fruit juice gummies and super soft gummies to all cannabis retailers in Nevada. Rapid Dose Therapeutics Corp announced that it has appointed Spinnaker Capital Markets Inc. as its capital markets and investor relations advisor. Spinnaker is a Toronto-based advisory firm which provides public companies with services tailored to raise capital, target, and attract institutional and retail investors, and increase shareholder value. And that's your news for today.
And thank you, Ricky, for the news. I appreciate it very much. Our viewers appreciate it very much. We're now that much more informed.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of crazy things have been happening today, and I'm really excited to be speaking with Tilt coming up the next little while, because they had that revenue. I'll save it for when he comes on. But they had a very interested, it's unaudited, but very interested amount of revenue, both in January and last year, where I think they're going to be one of the top dogs in the sense of the revenue that they're going to state top dog, and they almost came out of nowhere. You know, I've been watching them for a while in the background. I did not think that they were that large, so I like when you have those moments like, wow, you know, good for you. Let's learn some more.
Good.
Fantastic is the word you're looking for, I think.
Yeah, fantastic.
But what have you been? What's really caught your eye?
I keep watching the S&P. I want to see if it can get above the high that occurred about looks like early December. And December was one of the worst months of all time. And so, you know, we're not there yet. Put that chart up there. Oh, we got it up there. Thank you very much. But this is what I'm looking at. I don't know if this, there's a lot of technical people that are following us here. But you know, there's a high there, a little bit lower, then that brutal sell-off, and now we're here. Now these highs are all just a snick lower. I want to see if this trend here, you probably connect these things right there like that. Mm-hmm. Is that it? I don't know. But I do know that things seem to be slowing down, like in terms of like companies reducing their forecasts. Amazon's done it. Apple's done it. Yeah. You know, some of the major automobile companies in the world have done it.
All the beer companies in the entire world are doing
beer
that.
Companies, I can see that they're getting affected by marijuana sales.
Yeah, absolutely they are. Absolutely.
They have to be. Yeah. Because you can get stoned a lot cheaper than you can get, drunk.
Yeah,
especially in a
not to mention,
it's
very arguable that the damage that alcohol has the potential of doing to you towards the damage that cannabis has, there is a difference there, and some people just pursue, would rather have an edible.
So your liver's going to be healthier, but your lungs probably won't be.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? You got to pick one or the other.
But, my problem is I got liver problems and lung problems. So, like, both start with L.
Yeah.
Both start with L.
You just got to have fun. Another chart I was looking at before, and just let everyone know, I did just start a position at this, so forgive me if this is...
self-serving?
Yeah. Forgive me. I know.
I got my own problems. Mine are very serious.
But I thought it was really interesting. Again, we're starting to come into a point now where some of these companies are starting to wow people with their revenue, or at least their revenue projections. This one, I'm not too sure about in the sense of if they're able to fulfill this revenue.
What's the symbol?
SNN, Saniva. So I'm pointing it out more
on the CNX.
On the CNX.
Yeah.
I'm pointing it out more so from a TA's perspective opposed to the actual company itself.
And earlier you were saying it potentially looks like a breakout here, and it kind of does.
Well, they just came out saying that they were going to be
up 64 cents, last at 530 on 800,000.
Well, so I keep saying this, it's that Bollinger Band squeeze. When it breaks to that Bollinger Band where it's been horizontal for a little while, and look at the volume. Look at that spike in volume compared to others. So I'm looking to see how is this going to close. Is it going to close at the top of the candle? Is it going to close bullish? And then looking for a strong open tomorrow morning. Am I going to hold it longer? I don't really know.
This looks
Not
like
too sure.
the recent, here, let me just put this up.
You can pull up the chart again.
Yeah, put up the chart here, please, on SNN. So this was in the last few months, last 2 or 3 months, that was the closing high there. And we're well through that. Now, we got through here, but it was a reversal, a bit of a reversal, but it didn't really break down. It sort of went back to the averages, moved sideways, and now you got this nice little base here, and it looks like that base is being breached to the upside. So,
with really
this is something that I might take a little punt on. My own money, not your money, my money.
Yeah. You're not going to use my money? But no, they came out today. They were saying that they're going to be looking for, I think it was 50 to 55 million USD from their California operations alone.
Say it again.
50 to 55 million USD from their
revenues?
Revenue.
Just from California?
From California.
And are they involved in other jurisdictions?
They are in BC, if my memory serves correct.
Okay.
I don't believe either of their facilities are fully built out. I don't believe so at all. But they're stating that they have other supply deals to get that cannabis.
Are they well funded? Do they have lots of cash?
I don't know about the cash, but I do know that their market cap's 178 million. They're stating they're going to be getting 50 million this year from revenues. I'm looking at the TA of it breaking.
So it's not a lot of stock.
I'm just literally just going on a TA move.
I'll look into some of the fundamental metrics there. Look, there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers, and this may be one that the viewers may want to do some homework on. Certainly don't let us persuade you.
Oh my goodness, no, please don't.
But that is a nice little breakout, and that's how these things happen. You catch the breakout, and then don't ask questions. Somebody's stepping in here today.
Exactly, and
on news, on good news.
On good news. So it's happened a lot in January. It happened a lot. You saw it with Ozza, the spinoff for Roar. You saw that with Evenco. You saw it with Weed. You saw
Ozza
from Ozza. I wonder where they got the inspiration for their ticker.
There you go. Ozza.
But you see these things happen over and over. Some of them don't continue. And you got to watch for that. That's why,
this one's had a nice correction. Nice correction, and look at the other thing it's got going its favor. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this trend here. There's definitely a trend there, a channel. Right? Look at that. And then it flattened out. It broke the channel right here. So yeah, this could be something to really pay attention to.
Yeah.
Maybe you got a little extra pin money lying around. You might want to take a flyer. This
is a small little trading position in it because
this isn't horse racing, ladies and gentlemen.
It's close.
It's close.
You get to watch when the horses start running because the candle's already making its round, and then he's like, you know what, that could be the winner.
I thought I saw that jockey in the bar last night sitting next to me. I'm probably dreaming.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, you got to look out for these things, right?
Good.
James brought up a stock. This one's crazy. We got time for another one because I haven't heard anything in my ear yet that our guest is coming on yet.
Okay.
CUV, C-U-V. This was a 10-bagger.
I have a cuz. Now I've got a CUV.
There you go. This was a 10-bagger in the last couple of weeks.
What exchange, please?
I'm guessing the Venture Exchange. That's my first guess.
CUV.
First guess.
Yeah, because
it has rocketed. I'd be very careful getting it at this point.
Right again. It's on the Venture.
Yeah. Oh, that I'm right for. Yeah. This wasn't my call.
Look. Just looking at this chart, today's candle suggests that when it hit 74 cents, it's now 45.
It's
Whoa!
Crazy.
Somebody's saying, "Why did I buy that today?"
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
And if we were giving caution with the one we were talking about before, be very cautious with this one, at least right now.
Beginning of December. Look at this. This thing had a.
Oh, wow, look at it, right? So we're going to hold our thoughts on this. We're going to come back from this. We've got an intro. That's what we're doing now. We're moving up, folks. Just wait for this. We're going to do an intro on Tilt before coming in on the interview. You can watch that now.
Tilt Holdings, Inc. is a business-to-business cannabis company focused on the research, development, manufacture, distribution, and sale of products and services. The company maintains two primary divisions: technology for software and services, and infrastructure for cannabis products and devices. Revenue is generated from cannabis cultivation, the sale of flower, concentrates, oils, consumables, and topicals, vaporizer and inhalation devices, delivery and inventory management services, and licensed software. The company has operations in 40 U.S. states and Canada and Europe, and more than 1,000 dispensaries across the U.S., Canada, Puerto Rico, and Jamaica. Tilt Holdings, Inc. trades on the CSE under the ticker symbol TILT.
And we're joined with Alex Coleman. How are you doing, my good sir? Thank you for joining us on the show.
Terrific. How are you?
I'm doing very well. You had news come out today that I think is catching a lot of people's attention. Can you speak about that for a moment?
Sure. We produced a revenue number that we released to the market for $18.3 million for the month of January. And that was the first time we've actually been able to connect with investors for any results, given our elongated process to go public. And it's a reflection, really, of just the starting point for all the assets we've been amalgamating over the past several quarters.
Yeah, and it's a significant amount of revenue, especially the unaudited of last year. It was 98.3 or 97.3, I believe, million in USD. That's going to put you right up there in the tier one of cannabis companies. It's just really interesting. You know, we've seen your news releases come over the last little while. People have been talking to you from here and there, but I don't think anyone really fully understood, or at least speaking with other investors, just how much revenue you're actually pulling in. Is that, what states are you primarily in, and how do you get to that number so quickly?
Look, I mean, the number is interesting because it doesn't even reflect sales of cannabis products, actually infused products. You know, that's all coming online now. Our biggest push was Massachusetts. And as everybody knows, that process has been somewhat elongated by handing out license by license rather than just having the whole market go adult use at a moment in time. And then, you know, you add in the other states like Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, you know, that we're all going to reflect that revenue later in the year. So for us, you know, we've been talking to the street, but obviously until you produce the results, I think you're better off keeping your head down and building a business and show what you're doing by actually producing real revenue and real profits. And even the margins there were interesting because, you know, we're only now fully integrating all of those assets to cover each category. You know, if you think about it, we bought the largest CRM SaaS platform with over 1 out of 3 dispensaries use that already to connect with their consumers, bought the largest delivery distribution company, white label, with a 95% market share in Nevada and a very big market share in California, and then bought the largest inhalation vaporizer company. And what's interesting is what we've been telling the street, you know, we use all of our fixed assets to actually produce contract manufacturing for third parties. So our universe and our product offering for the B2B market is now unrivaled in terms of how comprehensive it is.
Yeah, and I like how you say that as well. That's what we really looking for is are companies that are actually building the infrastructure of their company opposed to building the news releases for their stock. It's really become apparent with a lot of cannabis companies, doesn't matter if you're in the United States or if you're in Canada. There really are a lot of people who have been saying all these amazing things over the last 2 or 3 years, and now fast forward 2 or 3 years, and a lot of them are not making those milestones. They're not adding on the revenue like they had said they are, and it's nice to see certain companies coming onto the stage and actually having a viable business, because that's what people are looking for now. They're looking for numbers. There's still a little bit of room for speculation, I think. It's still a new market. It's still growing exponentially, but it is a time right now where a lot of people are saying, show me the money, show me the numbers. Can you actually grow this to scale? And at almost 100 million USD last year, it sounds like that's exactly what you were able to do with your company.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Look, the industry is extremely fragmented. I read a report once that said 86% of every thing is independent. The entire market was self-financed. I mean, you wouldn't see a market like that anywhere. That would have that kind of disintermediation. And when we got into the market, we just thought about how to aggregate the largest pieces of the market. And imagine, I come from a private equity background, very traditional middle market, and I went to my first major cannabis conference last May and saw some very interesting presentations. The first time we presented, but I've never been to a conference where nobody presented numbers. And so we took that as a real positive sign for us to make a bigger initiative in the market and build something very sort of with more sustainability than just thinking about attaching a cultivation facility to a store and hoping we can just stay ahead of the consumer, who eventually just doesn't want to go to stores anymore.
Alex, Ed Milewski here. How many jurisdictions are you operating in it, and do you plan on continuing to expand the number of jurisdictions that you're operating in?
Yeah, great question. Absolutely. I mean, you have 33 states here now, and that's expanding. We have Canadian operations, and we've just signed some joint ventures into Macedonia. I think the big next, obviously the United States market will be the biggest in terms of annualized revenue, but Europe is not far behind. The European Parliament just passed some type of initiative to recommend the adoption of cannabis laws on a country-by-country basis. It'll look very different than the U.S. I think it'll be mostly subsidized and for healthcare at the outset. But we have access to. There are 13,000 pharmacies in Germany on a case-by-case basis. They're becoming registered to sell cannabis products, and through Macedonia and a bonded agent, we can get there. So I don't know if that answers your question, but there's so much opportunity. It's a massive expansion effort. And the biggest difference is, too, we're not bound by state barriers in intrastate commerce. We can sell pens, we can sell software and services across every state line without being restricted in terms of how we analyze our fixed assets.
And just a short follow-up question: how much cash are you sitting on?
You were focused on this the last time. After all the acquisitions, we have just over $40 million US cash in the bank right now. Okay. But we'll forever be fundraising. I mean, it's such a great ROI opportunity for us across every state.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, and the states especially, this has been probably the hottest topic of the beginning of this year. Obviously, it was being talked about for years in the States, but really I was starting to find a lot more investors who were really saying, wait a second, why haven't I been paying attention to some of these US players, and especially the ones who are across multi-states, because it's amazing how quickly the market is growing in all these states. It's amazing how many states are going to recreational or going to medical or going to both. For your what you'd like to do in 2019, you'd said that you had multiple angles that you are operating under. Is there a main focus, if you had one, that you said this is going to be our bread and butter, this is what's going to make our company, or do you still stick with we offer many different types of offerings with the pens and flower, whatever it be, or is there that one?
It's interesting. Look, I think you need to specialize. There's no question that you can't be too broad an effort, and I think that we see that a lot in the market right now. Our starting point is very B2B focused, and using our scientists and our engineers and our product developers to make better product that allow the businesses that are our customers engage with their customers better. And I think that's our sole mission right now. and it's everything in terms of the genetics of the company, how we think about product development, what helps our customers operate more efficiently and connect with their consumers more effectively.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, you've got to always be able to get a lot of different people, because there are a lot of different segments that are going to come out of this cannabis sector, but also have those few that you really focus on as well. Looking at your actual company, we're not so much the cash side of things, but going over to a market cap side of things. From your point of view, when you look at the revenue that you're stating that you've had in January, what you're expecting to have in 2019, and you look at your market cap sitting at around $300 million Canadian, do you find that is a massive advantage for you guys, or do you feel that you're undervalued compared to some of these other players who are out there in the billions who, quite frankly, aren't doing the same revenue as you've just stated?
Yeah, I mean, it's substantially undervalued. I think I'm allowed to say that. But by the way, just for clarification, we have about 350 million shares outstanding, so our market cap is about $1 billion Canadian. Okay. But if you look at our peer group, they tend to trade around 20 times forward revenue. We're obviously, even if you just extrapolated the $18.3 million we reported, it's still way below market, and that's not even reflective of our internal budget. So we're no question we're undervalued on no matter how you measure it. We went through a different process to go public. On December 6th, we started trading. We actually did a merger. And so unlike an RTO where you can control that 3% block that has kind of the same basis, we have more like a 14 to 15% float out there of shareholders that were part of our Canadian LP before we got here. So for us, it's going to take a little longer to work through the market. Not that worried about it. The only thing it does for us is slow down our M&A a little bit. But quite honestly, as we go through these integration processes internally right now with the assets we bought, we're becoming much smarter in terms of how we think about future add-ons. And so it really hasn't delayed much in terms of our execution.
I appreciate the correction there by Quote Stream. You pay a lot of money for these things, and apparently it's lying to you.
Look at the number of shares.
It wasn't recording there, but I appreciate you for correcting that. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, we've had that problem. The Canadian process is a little difficult to manage. There's a lot of moving pieces, but we're getting there. We get our QXQB listing in about a week as well, and that'll allow all U.S. shareholders who want to buy and sell stock to get into it. Right now, we got left with a derivative from the merger. This doesn't even connect it to our Canadian listing. So there's a lot of stuff where we've only been public for 75 days, and there's a lot that we're doing to correct that.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate very much for you coming on the show and letting us know a little bit more about your company, but specifically speaking about that really great revenue that you'll be able to have this last little while. The last question is actually from one of our guests, so we'll ask it live. William Lay is actually asking you, do you have one of the 9 stores in Massachusetts, which I believe you said that's where you're one of the places you're based out of, but just to ask their question straight from our chat room, we always want to make sure they're involved. Do you have one of those 9 stores?
We don't. Our next store is, we're in Taunton, Brockton, and Cambridge, and those will roll off sequentially over the next month to month. What we did not indirectly also, what's going to be interesting in Massachusetts, we had started an economic empowerment initiative about a year ago, before it became sort of more of a hot topic. Hired a gentleman by the name of Tito Jackson, who's an ex-mayor, ex-councilman, city councilman for Boston. We have a pipeline of dozens of minority applicants right now that we'll end up supporting in the market through that initiative in what would look like more of a franchise concept, for lack of a better way to describe it. And we're really excited about it, supporting all those people. So my hope is that on top of the 3 stores we open, we can open dozens of stores that are minority-led that we can support through our B2B model. It's like a perfect alignment.
So I appreciate it very much, and William, I hope that answered your questions, and because it did. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. We appreciate you coming on the show. Looking forward to speaking with you again soon, as we always like tracking the progress of the companies that come on our show. I wish you all the best for the rest of your afternoon as well.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alex.
Beautiful. I love that, man. I love being able to, when they take the time, because you can only imagine. I meet some of them as we're talking here, and you talk to some of these CEOs. They're incredibly busy people, especially when it comes to the cannabis sector, because they're constantly moving forward, and they're constantly, so I'm always very grateful for when they take the time, especially when people come in their chat rooms, if I'm able to look down during the interview, get some of the questions out there. I like that. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And someone was saying that they're looking at the shares aren't showing as much as well. I know QuoteStream, it really is one of the premier ones, but for whatever reason, when there's a newer issuer, QuoteStream tends to not state the market cap properly sometimes. I think it's because maybe there's some still at escrow or whatever it be. Always go to CDAR. CDAR will give you a better answer. I went really quickly to QuoteStream. I should know better, but that's why you're probably not seeing too many shares out there.
Yes.
But no, interesting company, man.
Well, you know what?
It'll be interesting to see.
Did he say they were in? Did they say 30? It's legal in 33 states, and are they in 33 states?
I believe he said he's able to move across them very, very easily, which is right now a huge issue with a lot of these MSOs because they're not allowed. There's a lot of restrictions, especially for THC cannabis, from going from one state to the other. It's very interesting over there. They have their own hurdles, just like we do here. Just not in the marketing, apparently, and that's where we screw up.
The number that he threw out there for January, was that 18 million?
Yeah, January it was
USD.
18.3 million USD.
So if you just take a run rate, 18 times 12 is 180 plus another 36, so 216. So 216 million revenue. There aren't that many companies doing 216 million revenue.
Yeah.
You know, so to your point, yeah. Listen, you got to get that top line growing. The bigger it grows, the more likely that someone's going to snap the company up. Not that I'm suggesting anybody's going to snap this up, but if you're not generating revenue, you got soon.
Yeah.
You're going to have unhappy shareholders.
Well, I brought up that point earlier about there were a lot of promises that were made. There were a lot of expectations, or very high expectations, I should say, for these companies to fulfill what they're putting in their investor presentations. And for whatever reason, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of regulatory issues along the way. There was a lot of holdbacks. They were really paving the way. But a lot of these companies I've been following for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, some of them have just missed the mark miserably, and yet there are new companies either coming from the United States or coming in Canada.
This company seems to be firing on all cylinders.
Where they had actually been building the actual company first.
And
moving forward from there.
Look, it's back to business 101, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're really close to it. There's still room for speculation. There truly is. We're too new still. There's too much.
But I think, how many Tilrays are going to come out here and go from $20 to $75 going forward? With that kind of
not many.
And and again, every time a company goes public, it just adds more dilution to the industry, doesn't it?
Correct, because you only have so much capital that's willing. You might get more capital coming in, but I don't think we have enough capital coming into the cannabis sector to soak up the amount of supply of shares and IPOs and whatever it be. Really be smart people. You have to start looking into your companies a little bit more, because we've said this plenty of times, Ed. You can't keep throwing the darts against the wall and hoping it works, unless you're a trader and you're looking for certain things and you're in, you're out. There's still a lot of that going on. If you're picking a horse, going back to the analogy we started off with, if you're picking a horse, you gotta research into what that horse is doing.
And make sure the jockey's capable.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
A lot of people will tell you the jockey's more important than the horse.
Yeah, absolutely. We got some people in here. One of them is saying FSD misses the mark miserably. They're talking about FSD Pharma. Yeah, there's some interesting things there. Again, look at the CETA documents. Look at shares outstanding, options, cash on hand. You got to put a piece together.
There was a deal announced recently with Oxley that got annulled.
Correct. I think it was actually the day that we last had the show together. We were talking about that.
Okay.
And
your memory is much fresher than mine, I can assure you.
Well, yeah, just Oxy had pulled out, stating, of course, alleging, because now FSD is saying that's not true. So all these things are allegedly. You got to always let those things play out, but allegedly saying that they didn't have the proper personnel that was in the requirements, and that there was also, I believe their words were, significant concern for the building in itself.
The building,
the state of the building.
Yeah, needed extensive upgrading.
That it did. So you know what? Yeah, always keep looking, always keep checking.
See canopy growth's going by. Now I thought someone told me, I think maybe Ben said, did they report today or are they reporting tonight?
They are reporting today. I do not believe we would definitely be talking about it, and the chat would be all talking about the numbers right now.
It was down a bit this morning and now it's up 40 cents. So I wonder if somebody's getting a sniff out there about what the results are.
Yeah, right now, Canopy Live is one of the only larger players. A lot of them have gone to red, or have stayed red, I should say. They're up 0.61%, so just they got a straw and there's a little bit of water there. They're just staying above water right now. But
bit of a code
we'll see what happens.
Bit of a code red.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Geneva up now almost 14%. I think it's starting to go.
What's it at?
530. I'm not wearing my contacts today.
Yeah.
530. I believe there's a big chunk at 30. Let's see if I can go to my level 2 really quickly. It was the 530. It's gone actually. Someone moved to 550. There's games being played here. Internet's on the bid, so be careful. Even though this is an active trade of mine. When you start seeing broker 13 and they start buying on all over the bid and selling over the ask,
well,
you gotta
market
be
makers
careful.
do make markets, don't they?
Oh, this is a bot. This is a very much, there's no market maker, this is market manipulator. I'm not a fan of these algos. That's just personal. I know they're a part of the market, so I agree with it. It's fine. I don't think they should be.
You know, I think my view, I don't know what my view is on that, because I've listened to people on CNBC talk about them, and they say in the big run it doesn't matter. It's still market making. But anyway, I'm not going to go into it because I'm not qualified to go into it.
Yeah, it's hard, right? There was something I was watching or something I was reading that said they estimate 90% of all trading is done by algorithms.
Yeah.
90%. So us 10% just looking for scraps.
You know what?
How can it beat a computer?
Why don't we get robots to do everything, and then we'll do nothing, and then maybe the robots will say, well, what do we need people for?
Yeah. It's
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
We have to be careful. We have to be careful over these algos. Get rid of naked shorting. I cannot stand that shorting. There's a place in the market for it because it corrects the market at times. I understand why shorting is a part of the market. I don't understand why naked shorting, which means usually when you're shorting something, you have to borrow shares. You have to actually physically have shares, and then that's what initiates your short. And you hope that the price goes down. You can pretty much buy them back a lower amount, and you keep that spread. Naked shorting, you don't need to actually have those shares. That's wrong. That should not be legal. I don't think it's legal in the States. I think it's only Canada. I could be wrong there, though. But that should be there's no reason that should be part of our market. You know what
they say about opinions, eh? Opinions are like everybody has one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's just saying, hey, Brian, shut up.
Look at the world is the way it is, but you know, like if you short the wrong stock and you know this, and if it starts to go up, then the shorts have to cover.
Yep.
So if they're naked, they're putting themselves at grave risk.
Yeah.
If they're, you know what I'm saying? Like you can get a short squeeze, and when the shorts start to cover, and we've seen it, we saw the marijuana stocks get pounded in the late part of last year, and then right back up.
We never got to talk about this actually. When it comes to Aurora, and they had their earnings out, I believe they were right around analyst expectations. I think they were a little bit lower, but they already told people they were going to be a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Still pretty good numbers. But anyway,
stock didn't do much.
But that's the interesting part. It was red right off the bat. You saw the entire market, Aurora, ACB, they all gapped down.
Yeah, they all came down. They all came back.
And the articles were coming out there. This is where you always know that it's trying to manipulate. The articles are saying, "Oh, watch out for this. This is going to be bad. Watch out for this week." And for whatever reason, Canopy just shot up into the green. And it's almost like they squeezed the shorts right away because they did not stay red for a while. And it was actually a relatively strong day, given that people were expecting more of that. Do you think that's a strength of the market? And I never got to ask you. Do you think that shows a little bit of strength of the cannabis market when it should have been red?
You know what? I would say, you know, and I've been not to pull the age card all the time and you know, profess to have all this wisdom because I've made so many mistakes, but I would say that there seems to be some really good underlying strength. And I was talking to one of the biggest brokers in the country a couple nights ago, and I said, what commodity do you like? What's your favorite commodity? And I was asking more about traditional commodities. And his answer quickly was marijuana. That's his number one commodity. He said that space, and he actually went out to suggest, and I'm not going to mention names, but he said he thinks Trump will make marijuana legal before the election, and that'll get him back in.
Oh, I don't doubt it whatsoever. I've always said for a long time he's going to use that as an election campaign. Well, try to get on there.
He certainly won against a lot of people when no one gave him a chance, and he did it. So who knows? anyway.
Absolutely. Well, we got our next guest on the line here. We've got Michael Caridi, CEO of Tree of Knowledge International Corp.
Yeah, that had a big move recently.
They did. How are you today, my good sir?
Very well.
How are you doing?
New York City here.
Very nice. Hopefully you got to escape a lot of the snow that we got over here in Toronto, but you probably got hit with it just the same, I can imagine.
It was very cold. It's actually starting to warm up a bit today, fortunately.
Very nice, very nice. Well, hey, one of the first things I'd actually like to start this off with, first and foremost, is you had an incredible move on your stock on Monday. And I'm trying to find like a news release or a great article come out. I couldn't find. Do you know what happened to have that much volume and that much share price appreciation in just a short amount of time?
I really don't. I think people are finally starting to understand what we do have. And we have a very compelling story. We have one of the largest patient populations in Canada and access to the largest patient population through our new alliance with Jack Nathan Health. There's over 72 clinics, over 2 million patients, and we have an exclusive relationship with Jack Nathan Health, which are throughout the Walmart clinics, Walmarts in Canada. So there's 74 locations and literally 2 million patient visits a year that we will be educating the doctors and the patients on our products and the benefits of CBD and cannabis products.
Fantastic, fantastic. And when it comes to looking into CBD and other cannabinoids, what are you finding right now that are you looking into what different cannabinoids will help certain ailments, or what are you finding that you're really seeing like this could really be something fantastic for these patients? There already is, so you had 2 million patients, that's fantastic. What are you finding is the big trend right now, or the big, realization of how much this can change the lives of these people, of these patients?
Well, it's been evident to us as a company. We started mid-2015, and we got approvals in Brazil, and we've been selling to patients with epilepsy and Alzheimer's and cancers. And down there, it's considered a medicine, and the government actually pays for it. And it's amazing the lives that we are changing, and the more people are starting to realize the benefits, the more they're being attracted to it. As I mentioned, in Brazil, there's about 40 million people with chronic pain, which is something that we will be going after. And so it's a huge market. We have, on epilepsy, we have close to, I'd say about 300 patients currently on our products. And we've educated about 2,000 doctors. And it's so new, with the recent passage of the Farm Bill in the U.S., there hasn't been much research going on, but now, finally, you're starting to see research.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you made there, actually, because I remember reading, whether it be last year or possibly even the year before, that a lot of these medical clinics were very angry because they kept being blocked from having certain cannabis strains and different things come in so that they can start doing the proper research on it. And that's why I always looked at Canada and also Israel, where they've been working on finding out a lot of these different properties of cannabis and how it can really affect the human body for some time. But now, like you said, with the passage of the Farm Bill, that you're saying that opens up that area a little bit more. These doctors and these scientists have a little bit more ability to do that on your own soil?
Yes, that's correct. So we're in partnership with a group out of Toronto called the Toronto Polyclinic, and we have ongoing research through Dr. Kevin Rod, who's a renowned cannabis doctor, and he has research with Ryerson, McMaster's, Toronto University. We have targeted studies for CBD and ultrasound. So really cutting edge technology that is so brand new that really people do not know about it.
Yeah, I think many people still do not. There's a lot of opportunity to be able to grow in this way, both through the medical side of actual doctors, but especially on the other side, the patients, the people seeking help for their certain ailments. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting next few years. Going into the rest of this year, what is your main focus on the growth of your company? What can investors look at and think, this is why I want to buy in this company, this is what I'm really hopeful for, this is the growth that I'm going to be able to potentially see?
Well, right now we're in discussions with a number of strategics. And, as I mentioned, with the largest patient population, we have the ability to have our doctors prescribe products. And having a strategic alliance with some of the large LPs will be able to encourage the patients to go to LPs that we're aligned with. So you're going to start to see us ramp up pretty quickly. You're going to start to see revenues ramp up pretty quickly. And we're not only a Canadian play, we're a U.S. play, we're a South American play. We're also selling into Ireland and soon some of the other European countries. We just signed a deal in the UK with a group for distribution. We are starting to talk to some of the larger retailers in the U.S. market. So it's a global play with what we have, and we're quite frankly just getting started.
Yeah, it's very interesting to hear the different areas abroad as well, because their medical markets are growing incredibly rapidly in different areas throughout the UK and what have you. So it's interesting that that's going to be a massive market, and it's interesting how they've created this whole system that they have, because they're allowing medical cannabis and they're allowing these things to start going, but they really don't have that many producers yet. They're slower behind that, which gives the advantage to anybody who can access those areas for exporting. So it's actually I think the next 1 to 3 years is going to be a big advantage until they, or if they ever, catch up in that front.
I would agree. And, with Canada, there's 30 some odd million people, and I think maybe you're up to about 140 or 150 licenses. So there will be a long time to catch up to the marketplace. Just to put it in perspective, we have an operation in Spokane, Washington. There's 1,200 licenses for 8 million people. So we think there's a tremendous upside in the Canadian area. And, having this research that we have with the universities, having the know-how of Dr. Rod and his ongoing research in clinicals. He has various patents for opioid reduction and some of these other areas that will be very impactful. And as more and more people really get educated on the benefits of CBD and THC products, it's going to just keep growing and growing.
Very nice to hear. For other investors who are looking a little bit more about learning about your company, where's the website or information they can look into to find a little bit more about you?
Sure, it's TOKI, TOKI Corp, CORP.ca. So Absolutely. You can go right on our website there. And we also have our product website. It's the Ever brand, EVR brand, and that's EVR, Edward Victor Robert, CBD.com. And we have a whole variety of products from sleep to dosing control devices, which we own the rights to patents on as well. We have salves, we have capsules, tinctures. We're also developing a whole pet line as well.
Very interesting. Well, again, I appreciate your time very much for coming on the show and explaining to our investors a little bit more about you, answering a few questions as well. Some of your products are showing up in the background here, which is fantastic to see. You've heard where their websites are. You can always go back and push rewind to hear that again, to look in a little bit more for you. And I just appreciate your time. Looking forward to have you on the show again in the very near future.
Thank you so much. Looking forward.
Yeah, the chart looks like it's, it looks like an inexpensive stock.
Mm-hmm.
I think the market cap is less than 50 million at these prices. I was just curious about, I wonder how much cash they're sitting on, because they seem to have an ambitious expansion objective.
Yeah.
Stock looks like it's rolled nicely. I'm just trying to think if I got the, for some reason, I've lost my ability to get quotes.
You've lost your ability to get quotes.
I'm a little chagrined by this, and I'm going to suggest that somebody in the control room reach out to me very quickly and correct this problem.
Absolutely. So while we're correcting that problem, we're going to trivia question. We love doing those here. We've prepared them. They do a fantastic job.
Right.
So right now, it's time for some trivia.
Back in the 60s, drugs were the root of creativity for the free love revolution. Despite announcing in 1966, "I never have and never will write a drug song," music legend Bob Dylan led a boozy chorus of everybody must get stoned. So here's your Q&A for today. Back in 1964, Dylan introduced a young band to the pleasures of smoking cannabis at New York's Delmonica Hotel, a hotel Donald Trump purchased for $115 million and renamed the Trump Park Avenue. Who was the band? Was it A, The Who, B, The Beatles, C, The Kinks, or D, The Yardbirds? We'll have the answer a little later in the show.
And you need to figure out that answer. Google allows us to really get those pretty easily, but for you, Ed, you don't have Google.
No, I don't have anything right now.
Do you think you don't have anything right now?
No, I have.
You don't have your computer. You don't have your mind.
Well, I've got my phone, which, you know, works, but I can't put up a chart right now, so I feel lost in space.
Well, what chart do you want to put up? I can do though very easily. Hopefully. Yeah. What do you want?
Whatever the viewers want.
Oh, so, the viewers want. It's chart time, folks.
I wanted to show that TOKI chart. Because I thought it looked very constructive. I thought it looked like, you know, to your point, like it looks like there.
So as soon as it finally loads up here, because we are having internet. It might be the internet, Ed. The internet's going very choppy.
Restart it.
This is the truth.
Looks like we're going to have a recall here, folks. So we're going to. Oh yeah.
Oh, James Watson is saying quote stream just stopped working. So it's not you.
It's not me.
It's not me. It's QuoteStream.
It's them.
It's them. Isn't this the perfect day for that? Aren't you supposed to say,
you know what?
It's not you, it's me? Isn't that how today starts? Or am I just being cynical? Valentine's Day, Valentine's Day. You're supposed to say that kind of stuff before you break someone.
I'd like to say sometimes it's Valentine's Day, and that's when you pull out a bottle of Valentine's and have a glass of scotch.
Yeah, I would not buy some scotch, but you know, speaking of scotch, that can go down like water, and sometimes water you like to have cool. We've got a segment right now. We're going to the water cooler.
Hey, Ed.
Hey, Liz, how's it going?
Excellent. How are you?
You know, I got to tell you, things couldn't be better.
Why?
Well, you know, I just seem to be in the groove when I trade my when I do my trading, my stock trading.
You know, can I ask you something?
Do you trade?
I little tiny bit, but I always wanted to ask you something because I feel like such a dunce when it comes to this.
So go ahead. So
I have bought a little teensy bit of cannabis stock. I have. But I didn't know like when I should be buying it.
Right.
You know, is there a certain time of the day?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I bought it at the wrong time of the day.
Right.
And then on the flip side, I keep thinking, should I sell it? And I'm like, well, what if I'm selling it at the wrong time?
Yeah.
You know, what's the right time?
Well, you know what? Like, first of all, there's a lot of statistics involved in this in terms of probability. Like when you're buying, you should have a plan. Are you buying?
You should or should not?
You should have a plan.
You should have a plan.
You should buy it.
I plan for my stocks to go up.
Of course you do.
Is that the kind of plan you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about if you buy a stock, are you buying it for short term or are you buying it for long term?
Right, so I don't know.
That's usually a number one thing. If you open an account at a brokerage firm, they're going to ask you, what are your objectives?
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
Because I hate it when they ask me that.
I know, because you don't know what your objectives are.
Well, I don't know exactly.
But you really want to make some money. I mean, ultimately, like if you go into buying a stock, there's only one reason to buy it.
Yeah.
You're buying it because you want it to go up.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, there's many reasons to sell a stock. Your husband needs some money, so he says, Liz, give me some money. So you sell your stock and give him the money.
So you know my husband.
I met him the other night. Anyway, so there's many reasons. Your child needs something.
Right. You need money.
Yeah, you need money. But
want to cash
out. But you only buy to make money. Like there's lots of reasons to sell, and there's only one reason to really buy. So the odds are against you to make money because you got a lot of sellers all the time.
Oh.
So there's that aspect of it. But there's also, if you go into something and you obviously think you're right to do it, but what's the basis of you doing it? You could be buying at the wrong time.
Right. So how do I know what's the wrong time?
If you're short-term oriented, then you really have to use some guidelines to buy, entry points. And entry points, the lower you buy it, the better your chances of being successful.
Okay.
If it's already gone from 5 cents to $1, there's a lot of people that are already made a lot of money, and they'll have the incentive to sell.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
So if you, let's say you buy something and it's only been trading for a nickel, I'll use that example, or $1.
Yeah.
And it's never really been much below $1.
Yes.
So you are really getting in as low as anybody.
Ground level.
Ground level.
Right. And nobody's had any reason to, been no reason to have activity on the stock because nothing's really happened.
You want to find out, you want to sort of know what the motives of the major shareholders are that are sort of not the ringleaders, but the people that are...
They're holding larger chunks.
The CEO, what's his goal here? What are they trying to do?
Okay.
Is a big promotion coming, or is it a hot area, a hot space like the marijuana sector has been hot? There's all these different factors. But the one thing that usually causes people to lose money when you're trading is that statistically you can either be right or wrong, and you're going to be right and wrong. But if you wait, sometimes if you buy something and it starts to drop, you should get out immediately.
You should.
You should, because if your losses are small, you can go back and try again. Now, on the other hand, if you start to make money, you might want to let that go, because you're obviously on the right side of the ledger. Let your profits run.
Okay.
And cut your losses quickly, because you're going to be wrong. And if you're going to be wrong, you want to try and maximize the making money part. Like it's one thing to be wrong and lose money. It's another thing to be wrong. Let's say you sell too soon, but you made money.
Yeah.
But you made money.
Right. So
it's better to make money.
Then, okay. So the other question I have then, Ed, is in terms of like physically in the day, is there a best time during the day? Is there a, mornings, noon, and, what time?
No, I don't.
After I put my kids to bed, because that's, all the time I have.
No, I don't think there is. I'm always looking at patterns, right? I study patterns because all the news that's out there.
Is that why you dress so monochromatically? Because you're always studying patterns. You can't be wearing patterns. You know what? Where's your water?
Okay.
Here. Cheers. Thanks for your help, Ed. Okay.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
Take care.
Thanks, you too.
And back again. Welcome.
And I'm back again.
Welcome. You're back again.
And I was gone, and now I'm back.
Is QuoteStream back again?
No, sir.
QuoteStream.
Maybe we should tell some jokes.
My jokes aren't meant for TV. No. I grew up in the kitchen when I was younger. I was 14, 15 years old, working in a kitchen with the old school. We used to smoke cigarettes while still cooking, like on the line. I don't know if that was legal back then, but they did it anyway. So the jokes they told me aren't prepared for.
I hear you.
For me to say.
And a lot of the jokes from my age too, you can't even say them because they're politically not correct.
Yeah.
There's so you just can't. You almost can't say anything. We should just all stop talking.
Yeah.
And just give speeches in a silent mode. You ever think about that? Guy gets up and says nothing.
I know. Well, you have a chance to say not nothing, but something. That water cooler segment.
Talking about,
that was fantastic.
Thank you.
We're learning here. You want to go farther on it?
We're Learn Ed. Learn Ed.
Oh, I know. I even said it on our Facebook group. We were saying that I was coming on the show, and it's Brand's coming on the show with Mr. Education.
Mr. Education.
That's your new name.
I'm trying to edify and educate.
Ooh, we can keep going with these.
Ooh. Yeah, sometimes I'm flummoxed with an ED in the end. Anyway, you know what? Yeah, it's interesting. There's lots of action though. Like when you see a company like WRR triple in a couple of weeks. Look, Suniva we talked about the S&P. Now the S&P did a little dipsy doodle today. I think when they came out and said the trade issues and with China were stalling. Immediately the markets sold off dramatically and gold shot up. Gold swung today at one point. I think about $13 off the low.
Yeah, it did actually. I'm looking at it right now.
Are you getting not on?
I'm just using Market Watch.
Yeah,
it's a little bit delayed because our quote stream, unfortunately, we pay a lot of money to have quote stream, and now it's not working.
Yeah.
But gold reached as low as like 1306 or so. I'm going by rough numbers. It's closing that.
Market's closing. Yeah.
1315. I believe this is delayed slightly.
Is that what you're showing? Is that 1315? I show it
1315
on the ETF, the major ETF GLD, up about $7. Again, that trades on market hours, whereas the futures trade on the futures hours. So there's a little bit of they're not necessarily synchronized.
Yeah, interesting to note actually, the S&P 500 and the Dow just took a nosedive to end the day. Now again, because I'm using Market Watch, I believe it's slightly delayed, so bear with me there. They took a nosedive.
You know what? I'd like to get some viewers to write in, especially people that are really they consider themselves to be technical people. Like I drew up that chart and I showed you those three highs before the market crapped out in December, and now we're back to almost the last high. So in other words, we got 4 successfully lower highs today, and then you're telling me it's sold off.
It's sold off, and I believe my ear just told me, this magical piece of plastic that's in my ear, that it's possibly, just let me check really quickly to see if it is this reason. Something might have happened in the United States. Declare. Yep. McConnell says Trump will sign funding bill and declare a national emergency. That's because if they declare a national emergency, he can then start putting funds into areas. He can, if I believe my American politics are correct, it's a lot harder. I'm trying to learn over the last recent years. He can now funnel money into areas he deems as a national security threat because he's declaring a national emergency.
And now,
which is the wall.
Does he have the power to declare emergency where no emergency exists? Like, in other words, who decides it's an emergency? And I don't know, maybe you don't know. I'm not asking you to tell me.
I don't know the full answer, no.
You know, so he and again, I'm not trying to be judgmental here. I'm just wondering what the if he's got that ability, he can declare emergency where no emergency exists, really, and says this is an emergency, you know, and he's pulling out, like he's pulling out the stops, right? Like he's trying to get something done.
And that happened 35 minutes ago, so that's right around the time where the down S&P 500 tanked. We'll look into that a little bit more. We're coming up next. We have the CEO of Neptune Wellness coming on, and we have a little bit of a clip for you to be able to watch. We'll put this on now.
Neptune Wellness Solutions is a health and wellness products company founded in 1998 and is headquartered in Laval, Canada. The company is engaged in the extraction, purification, and formulation of science-based products. Neptune Wellness offers specialty ingredients such as Maximil, a patented ingredient that enhances the absorption of lipid-based nutraceuticals and various other marine and seed oils. In January, Neptune Wellness received its Health Canada license to process cannabis, which allows the company to manufacture and purify cannabis extracts and cannabis oil, and to sell its services to other license holders. Production activities are expected to start soon at Neptune's 50,000 square foot certified facility in Sherbrooke, Quebec. Neptune Wellness Solutions is listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ and trades under the ticker symbol NEPT.
And I love those clips. It gives our viewers a little bit of a recap before coming on. Here with Jim Hamilton, CEO of Neptune Solutions. How are you doing today? Or Neptune Wellness. Forgive me.
Brandon, it's a great pleasure to be here. It's the first time we've been together.
It is.
You know, and I had this, like, it's Valentine's Day, and I was getting a little bit, misty that I was going to see James again. But I'm a little heartbroken he's not here. But Brandon, it's great to meet you.
I'm a little heartbroken he's not here.
I'm got to do his job, right?
I know, I'm right with you. But for yourselves, your company's actually been around for quite some time. When you were in here December, you were giving our viewers a little bit of an update of who you are and what you're doing. But recently, you've had a development on February 13th. You had your financials released. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, Brandon, thank you. Yes, we've been around for a while. We're a long-time nutrition products company and nutrition products people, and we love the cannabis space. We think the parallels between wellness and nutrition products and in this space are just unbelievable, and we're big believers in the space. And we started a journey to diversify our business into cannabis about 3 years ago, I think, with the whole regulatory process, which, as you know and your viewers know, and all the guests you have here know so well, it's a long journey, and it's a very detailed and steep hill to get through. But we had our license granted right after New Year's, January 4, by Health Canada, and we received our first inventories in very recent last little while, and our processes and manufacturing of extracts has begun, Brandon. Yeah. So we're very excited by that. So we announced yesterday our third quarter fiscal results and indicated to investors that manufacturing has now begun. Fantastic. And that's really exciting for us.
Yeah, and it is a very long process. It's unfortunate because it's fantastic to see Canada and really the world. It's all really catching on very, very quickly now. It's great to see these steps moving forward, but I think there were some stumbles along the way, and I think that really delayed a lot of the legislation, which also delayed a lot of the companies as they're going down that path. But when you're looking into nutraceuticals, when you're looking into wellness products, this is the area of cannabis I think I'm the most fascinated by because of the amount of uses of cannabis that we currently know, and there's a amount of uses that we're still going to be finding out for the next little while. I'm very, very intrigued to see companies like yourself making headway.
Brandon, just look at consumers and your own experience when you consume products at home, right? You no longer consume, for example, a vitamin that's a single entity. Frequently it's a formulated product for eye health or for digestion or for what have you. This industry will rapidly go that way, where we'll have condition-specific formulas designed for your particular situation, need, ambition, in a delivery form that is most pleasing for you in that particular case. So if it's recreation, maybe a beverage, but if it's for chronic inflammation or pain or what have you, maybe it's a capsule that you take on a daily basis. So I think we're going to see, we're really on the dawn of diversification of our business in terms of formulations and delivery forms, which is a really exciting time. And we, Brandon, as a company, love to be in the extraction, formulation, delivery form space, because when you look at markets like California, example, north of 60% of the products sold are some kind of extract delivered into a unique delivery form. And when you look at the pending legislation happening in Canada with edibles, we're going to see probably a parallel process happening here in Canada. And many of your viewers, I know, are aware, and some of your guests have talked about the whole phenomenon with CBD. Now, an interesting statistic for those that know a little bit about consumer products and nutrition, CBD, even though it's been federally illegal by the DEA and the FDA, is a category in the United States bigger than the vitamin E supplement market. Think about that. So a lot of our consumers know, or viewers know about vitamin E. It's now bigger than vitamin E, and it's on track to be larger than the omega-3 supplement market very, very soon, depending on certain estimates, probably within the next year, maybe two. So there's an exciting opportunity happening for our industry in CBD in the United States, and recent not legislation, but rather opinions coming from the UN in terms of what we can do with CBD now globally and descheduling it, the recommendations that they're now putting forward to committee is really, really fascinating for this business. So I think, yes, marijuana, yes, THC, but we'll see CBD, and we'll see a diversity of products, really not just in Canada, but for the world.
Well, absolutely, right? And there's a lot of people who, I believe it's going to be a two-pronged thing. There's going to be a fad, like a lot of people, we saw kale coming through, we saw especially, and that's one aspect, but in no means will it stop there. I think it's going to actually be a very large trend to follow that as well, going into those products.
Yeah, Brandon, when you look at, for example, nutrition supplements, I'll tell you where the greatest kind of consumer patronage is when a product you can feel, and when it's in a delivery form that's pleasing. And probiotics are a great example. When you take a probiotic, your digestion, your gut health, you can feel it. Yeah. And if you can deliver that in a delivery form that is pleasing to the consumer, you get tremendous compliance. And I think we're going to see that in this industry too, because when you talk to consumers, they'll often say, yes, we haven't seen all these double-blind placebo-controlled trials, I don't need that. I know when I take this product, I feel better.
Exactly.
You know, it helps me, and I think that will make for a very, very interesting consumer segment.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what company had done this actually. It was last year, there was a study that was being done in the United States on CBD and cannabinoids on gut rot and colitis, and how that is proving that having a high cannabinoid diet actually helps you combat things like colitis and bad gut rot, I should say. And I found that fascinating because they're already starting to go into those different areas where they're showing these different drinks and different elements actually will be helping you, because I've been saying for years, I believe that just like we look at people with vitamin D deficiencies or whatever it be, we're going to be looking at this 5 years from now, maybe even sooner, and realize because of our endocannabinoid system, we're going to actually have a cannabinoid deficiency, and we're going to look back like, how did you not know? Of course you were having headaches, of course you were having, but we're not there yet, but we're close.
It's just beginning, and for me, it's just beginning, and it's very classic when you compare it to other consumer product segments. You know, they start as kind of simple industries, single entity products, but the research where science leads, markets follow. We'll see an explosion of science, I believe. A lot of it will be in domestic Canada, and I think this is, you talk about regulations earlier, I think Canada has such an opportunity here to be really a hub of research for this entire industry going forward, and I think we're going to see that, and it's going to come. Right now, you've got a good consumer experience and belief structure in the category, but it will be fueled by science, and it will go much more broader base. As I've said on the show before and with others, I think we're really at the dawn of a macro global consumer product phenomena, and it's really an exciting time to be part of this industry.
Absolutely. Economics is my background, and I've been saying for the longest time that cannabis, for years people used to make fun of me, that I believe it's going to be the largest commodity. It's going to surpass wheat, it's going to surpass all these different things, because cannabis can be used, and I'm including hemp with this, because cannabis is both sides of the plant, male and female. I'd love to see, because you can use it not just for wellness products, not just for consumption if you're looking to feel better, whatever it be, but also just the products. Like people don't realize what is transpiring right now. It's remarkable what's going to come of this.
And Brandon, you know, I come from sort of the large corporate world before coming into Neptune, and I know so many of these people and these large consumer brands, and it's interesting in the conversations I have with them and how it's rapidly evolving. And when I started that conversation with some of them a year or 2 years ago, they said, "Jim, what's happened to you?" And now they're like, "Hey, get over to our office. You know, we really need to talk to you. What is going on?" And you see a whole new dialogue happening with the major corporations, and I do think ultimately this business, like I guess as I said earlier, will follow the track of many other industries. It will eventually be occupied and driven by large consumer products businesses. I mean, Constellation, of course, is kind of one of the first movers, but I think you're seeing an increasing acknowledgement happening with major corporations around the world for this space. It's going to be very exciting the next few years. Absolutely.
We went from you're researching cannabis to here's millions of dollars, get me something as fast as you possibly can. Find that patent.
But I think that for people in this industry where we're committing a lot of our time and energy, Brandon, is it's not enough, you know, again, to have you know, simple extracts. It's the purification of those extracts. It's the quality of those extracts. But it's also the formulation ultimately of those extracts with the right formula of terpenes and other components in a delivery system that is stable, that delivers on a specific consumer need. So it's quality formulated against a consumer need, and I think if companies can get that formula right and collaborate with other companies to get that formula right, it'll be a recipe for great success going forward.
Absolutely. Now, making it more specific now on Neptune itself, what type of products or what type of formulations are you really saying, you know what, this is going to be the staple of our company, this is what we're going to really be pioneering in 2019 with, or are you a little bit more broader, you want to go for numerous areas, you want to get numerous segments?
Yeah, we're not a brand company, you know, Brandon, first of all, where our roots and our competencies are on B2B relationships and collaborating with other companies. We're first and foremost an extraction company. We talk publicly about our 200 metric tons of capacity that are coming online, but as your video that just ran before, we have already built and constructed the equivalent of 6,000 metric tons of extraction capacity.
Massive.
And it's, you know, not licensed. We'd still have to put the cameras on it and do a few things like that. But it is constructed and ready to go. And you would never do that, Brandon, a facility that size for a Canadian market. But if you believe that this is a global consumer products phenomena, that kind of scale and that kind of quality will be necessary. Yeah. The formula in nutrition products, getting more specific to your question, is in collaboration with marketers, as we did with our omega-3 business with, you may have known it like krill oil or Mega Red as an example of a consumer product, is marrying some clinical research, with those compounds. We did it with krill. We're looking at it now, and we're very interested in the combination of cannabinoids with certain other active ingredients that could be helpful for absorption. For example, omega-3 fish oils, or krill oil for that matter, through the phospholipid and better absorption profiles, that you could get more efficacy. Especially is interesting from a chronic inflammation, as an example. If you're taking for knee pain,
that's going to be a huge one, massive.
Yeah, massive. So we're really interested in that area.
No, and it's fascinating because, like you said, it could be inflammation. We went from inflammation to gut rot. We went to feeling good. We went to think something that we thought was just going to be a fad or something that people are going to enjoy. It truly is remarkable where all these items are going to be coming from and all the different segments they're going to span. But the one interesting part is that there are very few people who are specifically looking to specialize in extracts and specialize in having these products. I've said it for the longest time, anyone can grow a plant in your backyard. You might not grow it too well, but you can grow a plant in your backyard. How many people are going to be in their backyard trying to formulate that? I'm going to extract the CBD out of this. Yeah. I'm going to make my own oils today. Not many. And if they do, I'll be very good on you if you actually were able to do that. But that's where there's going to be one. I think the prices are going to be sustainable just from a consumer standpoint, which means this is going to be a much more valuable product for a longer amount of time, compared to, say, flour, which we've seen it in Washington and in those different areas. It went down really quickly. I think that's a really interesting area where there's not that many people saying, I want to specialize in this, which fascinates me personally, because that's going to be one of the larger aspects of cannabis, in my personal opinion. Yeah,
Brandon, look, we all aspire and think we're great consumer products marketing people. We're not. I mean, we have opinions. We like to have with these guys, but we're not. But I think it's really important in business to stick with what you know, and we're not cultivators in the same time either. I mean, we have no competency there, but we do know extraction, purification, formulation, and clinical research. We're going to stick to that core competency, and we'll partner with cultivators and growers, and hopefully we can have good relationships there, and we'll do the same thing with brand business. But our core focus is that, and we think it's a great space to be in. But quality, consistency, purity, formulation, delivery systems, we think that's a great place to be, and that's what we're focused on right now.
Absolutely. And then lastly, if I was going to ask one question, if there's one thing about 2019 that you were most excited about, whether it be leading the company or for your company in general, what would that be?
We are so excited to get started in this business. We've been around for a number of years. We're traded on NASDAQ, TSX. We've been there for 20 years. But there's nothing like being in an industry segment that is just flowering and growing and developing. To be there and be there at this moment is the most exciting time. So to be licensed and up and running, and it's very motivating for our team, and it's a great place to be, and it's a lot of fun. We're happy to be a part of this industry, Brandon.
Absolutely. You can tell as well. You've got a lot of passion towards this. I appreciate that very much. You interviewed a lot of people now, and it's interesting to see each company come on. They'll say what their pitch is. They'll say certain things. You can tell some people it's not really their background, or they don't have as much, sometimes, they're not exuding the fact that they really love what they do. I can see that right now. I appreciate that very much, as you need that in this industry to really push forward and make that position for your company, but also just in general, what you're doing for consumers in general. It's a shift. It's not just money. It's not just dollars. We really are shifting our opinions. There's a cultural shift. I think when these products are coming in there, when we're getting a lot of more people off of these a lot of the stuff in their medicine cabinets right now for a more natural product. I'm really excited about that, and it's nice to see companies like yourselves having a little piece of that and pushing that forward. I appreciate it very much.
Brandon, thank you. Are we allowed to make jokes about James now?
Yes, we can. We do it right now. It's Valentine's Day. We can still make those jokes.
That's good.
Well, I appreciate very much for you coming on the show. Thank you very much. And for our viewers, if they want to find out more, your website really quickly so they can go and look you up even further.
NeptuneCorp.com.
Very easy to put it is. Thank you very much. And now we're going to go to the answer for our trivia question.
So we asked you earlier who Bob Dylan reportedly introduced to the joys of marijuana in 1964 at the Delmonica Hotel. The answer is B, the Beatles. As the story goes, after a session of toking up with Dylan, Paul McCartney thought he'd attained true mental clarity for the first time in his life, and the rest of the band spent the party rolling with laughter. Manager Brian Epstein apparently became so stoned he could only speak the words, quote, "I'm so high, I'm up on the ceiling." The Beatles went on to experiment with psychedelic drugs that influenced the evolution of their music.
And we are back once again. You know who else is also back?
I'm back.
It's back.
My back is right there.
How's it feeling these days?
It's not bad.
Fantastic.
I've been lucky.
And we got some people saying another great interview. I appreciate it. There's some good information today. I like speaking to companies that have that ability to, one, specialize in something. That's very important for me. I like speaking to people where their companies have a specialty of some sort. You need it in this business.
Yes.
It's going to be a very cutthroat and very, very, very quickly. But I love when you're able to learn. And I think from the conversations we had today, I know I've learned myself. So seeing comments like that in the chat room, very much appreciated of it. 4:21, we are past 4 o'clock. I believe QuoteStream is still giving us issues as well.
Okay.
I could try one more time. Let's see if we can do this last little market check to finish off the day. For everyone else, I hope you've been enjoying. I cannot read that far because I forgot my contacts today, but I believe it says what time is earnings. The Canopy earnings, I do not know the exact time. Ed, have you looked at the exact time? I don't know if there was one picked out. It's actually eluding me right now.
I gotta, let's see, cannabis beverages coming soon. What? Okay. I still don't see anything from cannabis.
I do not either.
It's Canopy, right? Canopy's earnings are tonight.
Oh, absolutely. It's some would say the king. Other people would say that's not true.
The king is Elvis.
You decide.
Elvis is the king.
Elvis was the king.
Well,
the new king. Wait for it. Everyone get ready to hate
Shadow
me.
Band, I appreciate the water cooler talk.
My boy LeBron.
Look at that.
All of you now hate me, or at least 20% of you actually like him, so you like me. The rest of you hate me now. But he is the king. That is a fact. I'm not getting QuoteStream, unfortunately. I believe our ability to go through a couple charts to end the day is not
going to happen.
Although
I'm going to put the.
I might have lied to you. Nope, server error. Response code 502 for URL, blah, 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 blah. We're no luck there. We're no luck.
Yeah.
So instead, what we're going to do, we're going to look at what's coming up for tomorrow, because without charts, that's Ed's specialty. That's his bread and butter. If we don't have the ability to do that, we're just going to make stuff up. We don't do that here. Instead, we speculate, which is almost making stuff up. Gordon McKinnon is here from Canadian Ore Bodies, the CEO. We've got Rob Cheney. He's the C21 Investments. I've actually talked about that company a little bit. That'll be an interesting interview. And then we also have cannabis predictions for 2019 with Mr. Rosenfeld as well. So a couple of things coming up tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
Should point out that Gord's father is a very famous miner. He founded the Hemlo Gold Mine.
Really? Did not know that.
Yeah, that was a monster, and so his if the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, we may be looking at something very, very special here in Canadian Ore Bodies. Anyway, we're going to be interviewing tomorrow, but everybody in the mining sector who's been around knows Gord's father.
Yeah, and we're hearing things here as well, not to switch too quickly there, but where it's for sure the earnings will be coming before 6 p.m. Eastern. They're following the same MO as Aurora, because Aurora had their earnings call at 6 p.m. Eastern. I believe they put their earnings out somewhere around like 4:30 or 5, if memory serves correct. So we should be getting them any moment. And for those who don't know what the earnings are, people are saying, what are earnings? Who's earning? Who's earning what? I don't know who's earning. Is it an earning? That's mining. Earnings, we're looking at, it'll show what their last 3 quarters were, what type of revenues they had, what were their operating expenses, were they above and beyond expectations, were they below expectations? Very, very important now for for all these larger players. It's important that they're meeting expectations. It might not happen because there was we had issues rolling out in Canada, whatever have you, but now we're going to the big boys, we're becoming real companies. It's all about, what was your bottom line? Did you make profit? Are you closer to profit? all those answers are going to be answered very soon, actually, very soon.
Well, so what time are they going to be out? Do we know?
I believe 6 p.m. Eastern is their call.
Okay, so we're not going to be here for that.
It'll be soon. We will not be here. We got 6 minutes. So what we're going to do, Ed, we got 5 minutes left. It's Valentine's Day. You're going to have an extra 5 minutes of your day today because we were going to end the show without Coach Stream being able to check our charts.
Yeah. So we're gonna call it a wrap here.
Call it a wrap. Call it whatever you want, actually.
Call it whatever you want, but don't color me gone. There used to be in funny car racing, there was a famous funny car, and this is quarter mile, and I think the name of the car was Color Me Gone. You know, like you know. Anyway.
And that you can take to your grave. I hope you take that information and you remember that for the rest of your life.
Very grave topic.
Well, everyone, I appreciate, we appreciate, there's a group of us, you tuning in today. Tune in tomorrow as well. Are you in tomorrow?
I'm in tomorrow.
Ed's in tomorrow. I will not be. Is it Ben?
Hey, apparently there's a bar in town here that's featuring free beer tomorrow.
Free beer tomorrow. Is that to help everyone who got broken up with today?
Well, you go in there. You go in there tomorrow, and you know what he'll say. Free beer tomorrow.
It's always free beer tomorrow.
Some people would say tomorrow never comes, and I kind of think they're right.
Fair enough. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed. See you tomorrow at 3 p.m.